I received a 7-day ban for threatening violence towards people. It was in response to a gardening post about eradicating pests in my garden with a rifle. I appealed and my ban was lifted. Has anything like this happened to you? Story 1. I was banned for a month because of hate speech. What I actually did was comment on a video showing Pakistani police forces dragging a tourist woman across the ground for showing too much skin and how barbaric their beliefs were. That was considered racist according to Reddit. Story 2. Banned from a certain subreddit for telling a moderator that being rude on the internet was not a personality or a real job. I stand by my initial assessment. Story 3. Someone posted pictures of Kanye's tweets providing a list of Jewish people in charge of various positions of power at media organizations and financial institutions as proof that Jewish people ran Hollywood and finance. I said that rather than just scoffing and silencing because that's exactly what a real conspiracy would do, this presented an opportunity for a teachable moment where we could explain the difference between having Jewish people in those positions and the institutions themselves being run by Jewish people. I said that refusing to do so would likely result in more of his fans believing falsehoods. I was banned. I tried to get an explanation, and the moderator changed it to a lifetime ban, called me anti-Semitic, and then banned me from appeals for a year. Then they harassed me with various alternate accounts for about a month afterward. I said that Roe versus Wade was on shaky legal ground, and while Ruth Bader Ginsburg was still alive, the Democratic National Committee should push for better legislation before it was too late. This was literally 1 week before she died. I was banned for a year but never posted there again. Story 4. I received a ban from a subreddit devoted to my university track team for correcting a moderator on the year we won a conference championship. I was on the team, but evidently the moderator knew more than I did. Getting old, I guess. Ironically, the ring they gave me also has the wrong date. Story 5. Several times, usually by political or current events subreddits that do not tolerate opinions conflicting with their orthodoxy. Story 6. I posted a comment on a post that asked if you had been spanked and if it had traumatized me. No, it did not. Temporary ban. Obviously, I triggered some sort of emotionally challenged administrator. Story 7. I once said that a woman should confront the person who was harassing her and received a 3-day ban for threatening violence. The ban was upheld on appeal. Story 8. I received a temporary ban for suggesting that someone end relationships with an abusive family. I appealed and the ban was lifted. I am banned from several subreddits because I called people offensive names. Story 9. A child rape victim of a Catholic priest burned down the predator's church. I was surprised it had not happened already, and that was apparently considered threatening violence. Story 10. Banned by Reddit for my comment about labor and concentration camps run by Poland after World War II. I was reported on r/Poland for hate speech. I appealed with historical proof and my ban was lifted. Story 11. I was banned by the automatic system when I was discussing cookies and milk. To dunk or not to dunk. I was on the pro-dunk side, and another poster said dunking was an abomination against cookies, milk, and God. I told him we would have to engage in fisticuffs, clearly joking. Got the hook. Story 12. I was banned for 3 days for a post about violence. I posted in hypothetical situations about being willing to beat a leprechaun to get its pot of gold. Come on, it is a hypothetical situation, and leprechauns do not even exist. Let me be clear. In real life, I would never beat a leprechaun for its pot of gold. Story 13. I responded to a video of a man on a motorcycle acting irresponsibly and said it was unfortunate that they did not get some road rash as a lesson. I was banned for threatening violence. I appealed because no threats were made, but the ban was upheld. Several comments expressing the same sentiment were left on the same feed. Story 14. I received a permanent ban for sharing a photo of a Japanese menu showing bukkake. It is a genuine dish of noodles and broth. I did not bother appealing. Story 15. I was permanently banned for my response to a hypothetical question. What would you do if you were invisible? I replied, go to a ball game and play various pranks, such as kicking ground balls, grabbing batters' bats, punching the organist in the middle of a song, and other hypothetical fantasies. My account was permanently banned for inciting violence. Is Reddit worried about an epidemic of invisible instigators? This infuriated me, so I figured, if I'm going to go, I might as well go out in style. I wrote a scathing, acid-filled, epithet-rich rant in the reason for appealing Reddit's decision reply box on my permanent ban notification. It was not nice at all. It was about as far from an actual appeal as you can imagine. I included the phrase piece of shit, toxic Reddit bureaucrats more than once. I asked for nothing and didn't expect reinstatement, especially after the phrase managerial imbeciles was added as my sign-off. I checked my account the following day, fully expecting a message like, "We have reviewed your appeal. Denied. No notification whatsoever. Just an active account like nothing ever happened." I was completely taken by surprise. I did my damnedest to burn that bridge like the 4th of July. Story 16. I was permanently banned from the Dead Bedroom Over 30 group because a woman there called my boyfriend a rapist for talking to his ex-wife about their dead bedroom. We both reacted and were banned. She said that discussing it was coercion. How else are you supposed to fix it? She said to leave the marriage without talking about it first. She was unreasonable. Story 17. Man, I got banned from Justice Served because I made a comment in some random subreddit. I pretty much hang out on r/all, so whenever something floats across my feed, I might reply to it. Anyway, I looked and the posted rules for that subreddit do not say anything about commenting in other subreddits, so I appealed the ban with something like, "I don't care if you unban me." It's really hypocritical for a subreddit named Justice Served to ban someone for breaking a rule that doesn't exist. They temporarily banned me for 3 days from Reddit. I appealed that one and was unbanned within hours. Then they did it again. I appealed that one, saying a moderator was harassing me. Apparently, that moderator was banned or temporarily banned. I was so tempted to use an alternate account and post the whole thing on Justice Served. Story 18. There were moderators managing various subreddits, mainly r/iPhone, who banned many people for commenting on a post. Regardless of the comment's content, they were banned. I was included, despite my comment being something like, "The moderators have a lot on their plate, but I can see why you'd be frustrated." The next day, I received a Reddit ban for ban evasion, even though I only use one account. The moderators decided to take it a step further and falsely reported me for that. The ban lasted 3 days. I appealed as false but received no response. It is unfortunate that I am now banned from that subreddit with no way to contribute anymore. Sometimes moderators have too much power and not enough sense. Story 19. I was permanently banned from white people Twitter for saying that it is possible to be racist against a white person. That was it. Story 20. All these comments discuss being banned from subreddits, while the original poster was clearly asking about a Reddit site-wide ban. Story 21. I was being difficult on one of the political subreddits. I have dialed it down since, but every day I am tested. Story 22. Got banned because I said that sex and love can cure some women's health issues and not only medication. Story 23. A year or two ago, there was a big post on the All Cops Are Bastards subreddit, and I got banned from the subreddit for saying not all police officers were horrible people. I complained to their moderators about how dumb that is, and they said something petty and muted me. I waited a month or so and went back to criticize them. They said something petty about me setting a reminder on my phone before muting me again. I thought that was clever, so I set a reminder on my phone and did this another 2 times. I guess my commitment was enough to warrant a week-long ban for harassment. I stopped going out of my way to confront them until I found a post with a grossly overweight person on a mobility scooter wearing a shirt so small it looked like a crop top. The title was something like, "Who is this?" So I commented, "The All Cops Are Bastards moderator team," and sent them a link to the comment. That also got me a 7-day ban. I never appealed because I knew it was wrong, but it's nice to release the steam, especially in a group that is hateful enough to generalize and encourage hate. Story 24. I said that anyone who sexually abuses children should either be removed from society and be chemically castrated if they re-enter society. Harsh opinion, but I mean, yes. I guess I am getting banned again. Story 25. I received a 14-day ban from the fishing forum for saying a fish was named George after someone asked for help identifying a fish they caught. Fishing is very serious. Story 26. I was banned for posting about throwing food at a dog that was attacking, intending to feed and distract it, but someone reported me for encouraging violence towards the dog. Story 27. Got a 30-day ban from all of Reddit by a bot. Someone was asking what to do if attacked by a dog that will not let go. I suggested grabbing it around the throat and choking it until it lets go. I received a temporary ban for advocating violence to animals. I just waited the 30 days. It is the only time I have ever been banned from all of Reddit. Story 28. There was a rooster attacking its owner in one of the chicken subscriptions. I replied that it was time to eat him, got fully sight banned by the robot. It was overturned on appeal. Story 29. I received a 7-day ban for threatening violence. It was a video of a man who refused to move from another man's seat in a theater. He said something to the effect, "You'll have to take me out in handcuffs." I commented, "Oblige him. Take him out in handcuffs." I appealed, saying the ban only makes sense if you believe calling law enforcement will lead to violence. The ban was lifted. Story 30. I received a warning for stating that, historically, National Socialist German Workers' Party members were prone to using violence against minorities. Story 31. You have been banned due to participating in a subreddit that celebrates or glorifies biological terrorism. This was for telling someone, arguing on the internet with strangers is not a war. Go outside. I guess you are not allowed to comment in certain communities. Story 32. Someone in anti-tipping was bragging about how they wrote cash on the tip line but did not actually leave a cash tip. I am not a fan of mandatory tipping, but I found that unnecessarily cruel. I joked, "Geez, why do you not just slash their tires on your way out too?" and got banned for violence. Feel denied. I will probably get banned for this again. Whatever. Story 33. I received an arbitrary ban from a moderator even though I did not break any rules. I forgot about it and commented in the same subreddit using a different account about 6 months later. Situations like this are why this site may eventually decline. Story 34. I was banned for suggesting that President Joseph R. Biden was demonstrating mental health or dementia issues. I guess I was mistaken. Story 35. I received a permanent ban for suggesting that literal sexual offenders be put into a wood chipper. It seems the reputation of these individuals cannot be criticized anymore. Story 36. I received a warning recently for saying that if someone did something like X to my family member, I would not hesitate to do Y. Reddit is uninteresting now. Bring back the old Reddit before it became less engaging. Story 37. On its pride, here comes the hate for the logo post. I simply said, I just hope for healthy discussion, no matter your view on it, so we can all learn from each other without it immediately blowing up into stereotype arguments. Yeah, permanent ban. Bigotry. Story 38. I once received a 3-day ban because I said I would have punched someone if they played a specific kind of prank on me, putting fake roaches on a pizza. I guess that was technically threatening violence, but it was a hypothetical scenario and not directed at anyone specifically. I recently got out of a 7-day ban for making a comment that had nothing to do with politics in a political subreddit. Specifically, I made a post about lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender topics in a thread about the same in a political subreddit. Story 39. I was given a week-long ban from the subreddit What Is This Thing? Because I did not pay attention to where I was and posted a joke response, which is strictly forbidden. I did not appeal it because I broke the rules and accepted my punishment. I was given a 3-day ban from posting comments anywhere on Reddit because their automated censor bots do not pay attention to context and automatically ban users based on keywords. I appealed the ban, pointing out that if a human actually read the comment, it was clearly not suggesting any kind of violence. They lifted the ban. Story 40. I was permanently banned from the Should I Buy Games subreddit when everyone attacked someone for wanting to buy Hogwarts Legacy. I commented on how it was crazy that we have become so sensitive we cannot buy Harry Potter anymore. It is a crazy world we live in. Story 41. Threatening violence and hatred. I was making a very obvious joke about Mark Wahlberg's past hate crimes at Marky Mark's expense. It was removed within a couple of hours after an appeal. Story 42. I received a Reddit automated moderator message for saying, "These sorts of posts need to be from the neck up. That is considered threatening by what they interpret." It was a post about headshots, and an OnlyFans advertised their headshot, but 90% of the image was not. Story 43. I quoted Conan the Barbarian and received a warning issued by automated tools. The warning was overturned on appeal by a human. Story 44. My very first account was temporarily banned for some unsavory things I wrote about Germany in both world wars while I was drunk. Which is fair because, to be honest, it was kind of xenophobic. But then I saw a post about someone complaining about their neighbor filling their house with car exhaust. I wrote something like, "Put some sugar in the reservoir, and you'll have no more issues." And that was apparently a call for violence and earned me a full ban. Story 45. I got a ban for 7 days for making a comment on a post about someone finding a centipede in the house. I jokingly said, "Burn it down." I got banned for the same reason as the original poster. Story 46. Banned from the Masculinity Rocks subreddit for encouraging men to seek help instead of taking their own lives. Suicide is a major cause of death among men. The subreddit is incorrectly named, reflecting overly sensitive moderators. Story 47. Not a ban, but I did receive a warning before for using homophobic language on another subreddit. I was referring to cigarettes, but I used a colloquialism for them that I forgot is also a slur. For me, it just means cigarettes. Story 48. Not Reddit, but still a funny story. I was in a video game group on Facebook, and a guy was asking for advice on a boss. I said, "Shoot it until it dies," which Facebook interpreted as promoting terrorism. I was surprised I did not get the authorities at my door for that. Story 49. Got a temporary post in the Baltimore subreddit. There was a string of carjackings last summer committed by children. I said that in the moment, people should defend themselves because when you are getting robbed by people in ski masks, you do not assess their age. I think this is true. If I am getting robbed, I am not wondering, "Oh, this might be a child. Let me know defend myself." If you catch my drift. Also received a 3-day ban for suggesting that people get their handgun qualification license and concealed carry permit. Story 50. I responded to a post regarding attacking someone's dog and what I would do if someone attacked my dog. I was banned for threatening violence. No threats were made. Story 51. Made a joke about a man who, out of desperation after being arrested, claimed he was a woman to be placed in a women's prison. He was denied his request, so I wrote, "Well, he wanted to be a woman, so I'm sure Bobo in jail will be happy to make him feel like one." I was banned for 60 days from that subreddit. Story 52. Temporarily banned from Reddit for commenting "that isn't a woman" on a news article in r/news where the person literally was not a woman. Then I was permanently banned from r/news for this comment. Imagine getting banned for saying "holy cringe" to someone claiming that King Charles owns Canada. Frustrating moderation on Reddit. Story 53. I was permanently banned from the news forum for telling someone that their bias was getting in the way of facts when it came to gun violence in urban areas. Story 54. I cannot remember the group, but I was banned for referring to Michelle Obama as Big Mike. Banned for life. Story 55. I posted conservative content on Reddit. I was banned for 2 years from a subreddit. I made a joke, received a violence ban, appealed, and the ban was lifted. Story 56. Got a ban for a few days for telling someone how I would defend myself from an animal attack. I appealed and the ban was not lifted. I got another one for calling a genocidal Nazi a Nazi. I appealed and it was not lifted either. Overall, pretty bad experiences with their system. Story 57. I was permanently banned from a subreddit for saying the Democratic Party did a poor job in the last election and had no strategy. It was probably not the right choice to speak the truth a week after the election. I was temporarily banned from another subreddit for telling a racist to harm himself. I admit that was not my best moment. Story 58. Which time? I think the most unreasonable was a 1-month ban from Star Wars. I was accused of being political about a saga based on galactic politics. I just laughed and unsubscribed. Unreasonable rules are for unreasonable people. Story 59. I received a warning for hate speech. I asked them to specify what hate speech I had expressed, but I did not receive a reply. All I did was support U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. They apparently cannot handle someone with opposing opinions. Story 60. I am a woman, but I am banned from commenting on the skincare or acne subreddit. I basically wrote on someone's post all the supplements that helped heal my skin, and then I got banned because I am not a doctor, so I should not be giving out medical advice. That is fair. But could I not just get a warning? Story 61. Rule 1 is a joke. I received many temporary bans for inciting violence on video game posts. I was permanently banned by a community moderator for replying to a hypothetical question about self-defense. The ban was lifted by Reddit moderators. Now, I will simply not reply with anything violent. Story 62. Temporary ban for disagreeing on a transgender topic. No hateful language. My points were supported with sources. This is just one topic you need to fully agree with or remain silent. Story 63. Yes, I got banned for wishing ill on notorious convicted murderer and rapist Richard Ramirez. I contested it, but apparently Reddit felt it was valid to ban me for saying such a vile thing about an upstanding historical figure of American history. Then I got my account suspended for basically saying Punisher did nothing wrong. I contested it again, and apparently Reddit felt that one might have been too stupid to enforce, so I got my account back. Story 64. Yes, I got a temporary ban because I was in a politics thread and I brought up the topic of ending the filibuster. They said I was advocating violence. It just makes me hate these mindless bots that flag words but cannot grasp meaning. Story 65. Yes. Peeled. Lifted. Reports of this all over. The bots are set too strict, and I reckon the administrators will get sick of it and loosen controls eventually or tweak the artificial intelligence. But it is annoying when it is happening. Story 66. I got banned from the sports subreddit for saying that the kid who got disqualified from the swimming race for jumping out of his lane after he won should have known the rules. Story 67. Someone posted about very casual activities in the adult content section and asked, "Does this make me a promiscuous person? I feel like one." I responded, "Kind of." The post was permanently banned. Story 68. Same. Broke the rule against violence. I appealed and lost. My argument was, how does one talk about forms of execution without being violent towards others? To be fair, I was making the argument that certain criminals like Nicholas Cruz should be publicly executed and made an example of. I will probably be banned again for this comment. Story 69. I was banned from a subreddit after commenting on a video of people new to a country. I mentioned that they should act like guests in that country and not cause problems. I did not say anything racist, just pointed out they should behave respectfully. Then I was banned. Story 70. I was banned for saying war crimes against wasps. Peeled. Nothing happened. Thank God it was for 3 days only. Story 71. I commented in a Pokemon Go spoofing subreddit something silly. Then I got banned in the official Pokemon Go subreddit because I dared to associate with spoofers. Story 72. I received a 3-day ban for inciting violence because I said that the best version of him, Osama bin Laden, is dead. Story 73. I did not get banned but received a warning for promoting violence because I suggested that children setting their Chromebooks on fire should be prosecuted. I appealed, but the appeal was rejected. Story 74. I received a 7-day ban for posting a shirtless picture of myself. I was wearing jeans with a guitar strapped on me. Story 75. I got one recently for threatening violence. All I said was to clamp a car that was parking in the original poster spot. Story 76. They claimed I endorsed violence, which I did not do and am not doing now. I merely mentioned in a reply that I had, in the past, engaged in a physical fight with a revivalist group. Hopefully, that clarifies things enough because the ban was accompanied by a note stating that the decision was made by an artificial intelligence tool that scans posts. That made me uncomfortable. Story 77. permanently banned from Vanderpump Rules. I was a moderator on a few subreddits as well, so I was very upset about that. Story 78. Years ago, I was permanently banned from Reddit for some nonsense. I filed a couple of appeals, mostly because my comments were completely misinterpreted out of context, and the ban was lifted after a few months. I would have had to live without Reddit. Can you imagine? Story 79. I received a 3-day ban for discussing hunting, specifically about a moose with a brain parasite. I was unbanned on appeal, but there is a scoring system that ranks the quality of interactions on Reddit, and mine dropped to very poor. Story 80. I was permanently banned for posting a screenshot when I actually posted a photo of the bulbs in an old-school red, green, blue display. Moderators took a look, had a discussion, and reversed the ban. I was temporarily banned for posting videos depicting death. I had not done so and asked moderators if they had the correct person. I was told the matter was not open for discussion, muted, and banned for 3 days. They then deleted all my posts in the section. The last warning was for threatening violence towards animals after advising a person to do the humane thing after standing on a bug outside. Story 81. The same. It was an automated ban based only on certain words. When I wrote to the moderators asking for a human to review it, they agreed that there were no threats and reversed the ban. Story 82. I threatened violence against ticket inspectors who gave me a fine I could not pay. I may have exaggerated a bit while flustered. I received a 3-day ban for using the expression smack a bitch while referring to one of them in the same sentence. Yes, I am still upset both over the fine and the ban. Story 83. I am not a man, but I like to believe I have courage and deserve to be here. About 8 to 9 years ago, I was banned from my country's subreddit for posting a meme mocking our attention-seeking prime minister. It was a special week, and I had been posting memes everywhere. Within a few hours, I almost deleted my old Reddit account. By the next election cycle, left-wing users had taken over the subreddit, making it a free zone, but I was already on thin ice with a warning, so I stopped posting memes. Later, right-wing users took control, shutting down any criticism of their leader. I missed out on a lot of fun but wanted to keep my account safe without causing trouble. Also, I was banned from Japan-related subreddits. Use other travel communities if you have questions while visiting Japan. Story 84. I received a similar response when I suggested placing a pebble in the valve stems of a car to create a slow leak. I suppose the moderators who were abusing their power were having a bad day. They refused to remove the post. Story 85. Just got off a ban of 6 days due to a motorcycle subreddit. Protesters were on bikes complaining about motorbikes blocking traffic while blocking traffic themselves. I said that someone could easily have drowned out their chanting by revving really hard. I used the biker term rev bombing, and they said it was threatening violence. I appealed, saying that the expression was common and it only encouraged people to be noisy and, at worst, be a nuisance, but no luck. I was heading up to my 500-day streak on Reddit too, and it's now reset. Story 86. I got banned for encouraging violence. I quoted a Scottish person in a posted video. Being Scottish. It was a video where he was saying inappropriate things on a train. I appealed and was denied, with no option to push further for the obviously mistaken ban. Proof Reddit is biased against the Scottish. Definitely. Story 87. I was banned from a subreddit when posting with my second account because my first account was banned there. I was unaware that my main account was banned, as I never posted or commented on that subreddit. I likely got banned automatically based on the subreddits where I do post and comment. Otherwise, I do not know why I would be banned there. Story 88. Received a report for threatening violence by responding "use more gun" in a comment chain quoting an engineer from Team Fortress 2. Some Reddit moderators appear to be overly strict. Story 89. I recently received a 3-day ban from Reddit for harassment. They did not inform me which comment was the issue, but I believe it was because a moderator was unhappy that I responded. I sent numerous messages to Reddit support, all of which were ignored. Story 90. Received a 2-day ban on 2 of my accounts Monday morning. I did not violate any rules, just disagreed with some people. Tried appealing but had no luck. Reddit moderators seem to be trying to silence people this week. Story 91. I suggested that Aaron Judge, probably the best hitter of this current baseball generation, being injured was good for the other teams in the division. Temporary ban for advocating violence. Advocating when he was already injured. Story 92. I received a 1-month ban from White People Twitter because someone posted a Twitter screenshot of a black woman talking about another black woman. I was not being racist, just calling out some lazy posting. Many of these subreddits allow people to go completely against the intent of the subreddit. All I said was, I thought this was White People Twitter. What is the point of the subreddit if you can just post anything? I have completely unsubscribed from it. It is definitely not Black People Twitter. Story 93. 7-day ban for saying that a Russian soldier in Ukraine is a foreign agent and foreign operative, and that the only good ordinary Russian conscript is a dead ordinary Russian conscript. Story 94. I was banned from a subreddit for complaining about hateful remarks towards a person asking a question not related to religion. All the hateful remarks directed at the person were because of his religion. Apparently, the moderators who said, "No hate speech or bigotry will be tolerated," meant that any hate speech or bigotry they dislike would be tolerated, or the truth if they do not like it. They banned me for life for complaining about the rampant hate speech. Reddit is full of haters. The moderators are haters, and the company is devoted to spreading hate as long as they make money. It is an entertainment site. Nothing on it is to be taken seriously. It is about generating revenue for the company and feeding the egos of the moderators. If there are any good moderators, know that the vast majority make you look bad. Story 95. I was banned for threatening violence. I told someone I was going to defecate in their mouth. I suppose that is considered violent. Story 96. A post in a subreddit for a band I listened to was calling out concertgoers who arrived early to wait in line, then wrote a number on their hand to identify their spot, returned once a line had formed, and tried to reclaim their place. Most sensible people said this was ridiculous and that those people are inconsiderate. This band's fanbase also has a split opinion on mosh pits. Growing up going to metal shows, I enjoy them and expect live music to create situations where I might get bumped or shifted. If a pit forms and I do not want to be near it, I simply move instead of complaining online. In response to the post, I commented, I'm going to crowd kill any person I see with a number on their hand in the pit, trying to make a joke and support mosh pits by emphasizing their role in maintaining social balance. Crowd killing is a term from the hardcore music scene, referring to when people are moshing in a way that intentionally or unintentionally targets those not actively participating in the pit or singles out a specific person. Apparently, this was seen as a call for violence and was not well received. I received a 3-day ban, to which I responded by explaining that outside the context of the hardcore scene, the comment may seem inappropriate, but it was not meant to actually threaten anyone. The ban was later lifted. So thanks to the moderators for understanding the context and supporting moshing. Story 97. I told the actress from Star Wars Acolyte to suck D after she blamed the failure of her show on the toxic fanbase. I explained that her name does not define her and that it is not hostile to tell someone to suck D. The ban was lifted. Story 98. I got 2 permanent bans, one from AskReddit and the other from Apex Legends. AskReddit banned me around 2020 or 2021 during the height of the pandemic. I said one thing about the vaccine and got instantly banned. Apex Legends banned me because someone did a terrible cosplay with the sole intention of promoting an OnlyFans account. Naturally, I called her out on it and told everybody that her OnlyFans content was leaked and free if you just searched her handle. The administrators, who thought she would be interested in them, banned me for posting personal information. It was a Google search. Story 99. I've been banned from a community forum for not following their party line in a non-political subreddit. I tried to ask for clarification and was basically told to go away, and the moderators blocked me. Story 100. I got banned for 3 days when I said, "Burn it with fire" about a nest of spiders. Apparently, I was advocating violence. Story 101. I was warned recently for saying, I wish Congress could remove that smirk from her face. Throw her in jail already. referring to Kristi Noem on a conservative-leaning news site. I believe it was reported by someone. I did not appeal the warning. I just blocked the site. Story 102. Banned from the conservative subreddit for calling one of them weak. To be fair, though, he was being very weak. Story 103. I said that people who defend pedophiles should hang on the same tree as the pedophiles themselves. I guess it says quite a bit about Reddit staff. Story 104. I was permanently banned from the anthropology forum for saying that while men will date anyone they find attractive, women tend to date men of equal or higher status. Evolutionary biology shows this is common behavior. Story 105. I have been banned from many subreddits, but never from all of Reddit. When you are conservative, you get blanket banned quite regularly. I have been banned from subreddits I had never heard of until I was notified about the ban. I follow one particularly spicy satire subreddit that alone got me banned from 15 subreddits just for following it. In reality, yes, I am conservative, but outside the Reddit world, no one has ever told me my views are that extreme. I am just not liberal or left-wing. Story 106. It is a very frequent occurrence. It can also happen simply for upvoting posts deemed to be threatening violence. The first review or ban is done by artificial intelligence. The appeal is supposed to be reviewed by a human. Story 107. Yes, the original poster asked what weapon would change the earth. I answered as I do, and the automated moderator removed my response. Story 108. I commented about self-defense once and found out that advocating for fighting is considered bad. But thankfully it was just a warning. Story 109. Apparently, supporters of authoritarian communist ideologies do not like it when you ask them which local candidates they support online. I guess expressing strong opinions online is considered activism. Story 110. I was permanently banned a couple of years ago for saying, I don't believe anyone should ever hit their kids, but striking a little fear into them might be necessary. Anyway, I was permanently banned for that. It just goes to show how sensitive Reddit is and why this app represents what is wrong with the world today. Story 111. I have an account somewhere that was permanently banned for discussing eradicating rats in your backyard. I live in Chicago. We are obligated to do so. Reddit apparently is not good at everything they do. Story 112. I appealed a ban after a moderator thought I was inciting violence, when in fact I was quoting the original poster's words in their post. The ban was overturned after 24 hours. Story 113. That's okay. I disagreed with a moderator and was banned. I never said a bad word or threat, just proved them wrong. Story 114. Yes. I created a hypothetical person from a real location to use as an example of annoying behavior. This apparently upset someone enough to report me for revealing personal information. I received a permanent ban, but I appealed it and they overturned the ban. Story 115. I said a person mentioned in a news article was a fooling idiot. The moderator sent me a warning at 2 a.m. and said I had 1 hour to delete or edit my comment, or I would be permanently banned. I saw their warning 5 hours after they had sent it, and by then the ban was permanent. Story 116. I have been shadow banned twice by the automated systems. The first time I did not care, but the second time I was banned unfairly for my comment. I challenged the decision and specifically requested a human moderator. The ban was then reversed. Story 117. I received a warning for threatening violence due to a comment I made in fight porn, saying, props to the guy for holding back and not killing him. I appealed, but it was not overturned. I was banned from the Australian Football League subreddit for calling the umpire a cheating person. Story 118. I am in the United States. I was banned for offering to buy or help sell illegal items. The post was about a man whose girlfriend was gifted a firearm by a family member. The family member did not know she struggles with her mental health. I offered to help him remove the firearm from the house. Reddit banned me. I appealed and explained that I am a licensed firearm dealer and it was not illegal for me to help someone sell or dispose of a firearm. I was finally able to get my account back. I no longer offer to help. Story 119. I was permanently banned from a subreddit for making a joke that went against the accepted opinion. I am able to post in the subreddit again, so apparently bans only last up to a year. Story 120. I posted about the show Yellowstone and was banned for 7 days for threatening bodily harm. I was talking about a plot point, and even then, I did not threaten anybody. Story 121. Made a not-so-good comment on a post back in high school. Used the ban to get my head on straight. I had less control over what I said online and in real life at that time. I have not been banned since. Story 122. Got temporarily banned from the subreddit for mentioning you can buy ammunition at Walmart while discussing timelines and fan theories. Then I got permanently banned for asking a clarifying question of the moderators. Stupid. Story 123. Never banned but have many posts shadow banned by moderators, especially in the United Kingdom subreddits. If you have many comments with one upvote and no replies, you can check AskReddit to see if the moderators have hidden your post, so you are the only one who can see it. Story 124. I was watching a video about an extremely unpleasant and abusive person and pointed out correctly that the person was lucky. In my country, that person would likely have been injured in an accident involving sharp objects. Then I received a ban for inciting violence. I did not care enough to appeal the ban. It expired on its own after about 3 days. Story 125. A thread complaining about the lack of rights for air travel passengers in Australia was banned for suggesting complaining to politicians to change the laws to something similar to the European Union. It was banned because it was bringing politics into the discussion. I guess it was just a whine thread, not looking to actually improve things. Story 126. I have been banned at least twice because the artificial intelligence did not understand what was happening. I cannot recall the details of the first 2 instances as they occurred a while ago. However, most recently, I quoted a song lyric from They Might Be Giants and was banned for glorifying violence. On all occasions, I was able to have the bans reversed on appeal. However, the unjust and high-handed behavior leaves a bad impression, and I look forward to the rise of a decent Reddit alternative. Story 127. I said someone's taste in movies was poor because they thought the sequel trilogy of Star Wars was better than the original trilogy. Story 128. I received a 3-day ban for telling someone they must like getting punched in the face because it must happen often with that option. I got it overturned by explaining that I was making an observation, not a threat. Story 129. Just recently, it was sport bike shenanigans related, and I commented that if you ride like that, you should have organ donor on your driver's license. This was interpreted as me wishing death on the person. The post was flagged by an automated system. I received a 3-day ban and an opportunity to reply. I provided context and the ban was lifted. Story 130. I received a 7-day ban for saying that watching Katy Perry go up in that rocket and become self-righteous awakens my class consciousness. For promoting violence. Story 131. I received a temporary ban for threatening violence, but despite my efforts, I could never find the comment it referred to. Story 132. I posted something that was not a death threat, but was interpreted by the automated moderator as one. I got my account back after it was reviewed. Story 133. I was told they would be monitoring my comments because I said an inappropriate thing regarding a gentleman in public service who decided to abandon things he regularly wore and become close to a person who had lived only a fraction of that gentleman's time on this planet. Story 134. I was mocking people who called for violence against a man who was speaking badly. They basically said that not only should the man be assaulted, but knocked out cold to prevent the threat of him going to his vehicle and coming back with a gun. I sarcastically said that the unconscious person should have all of their flesh consumed to mitigate the risk of reanimation. That was considered a call for violence, apparently. People are dumb, and so are public panic-type online forums. Story 135. I am banned from TikTok because I said someone looked gross. That is kind of the entire vibe of the subreddit, but I got banned anyway. Reddit is definitely strange. Story 136. I have been permanently banned from the legal advice forum. They did not approve of my recommendation for anti-drone booby traps, specifically a shotgun that was not drop-safe and accidentally discharged. Story 137. I received the same response for participating in a discussion about gardening, specifically regarding a type of insect or parasite that is very harmful. In that case, when you find them, you are supposed to burn them because squashing them does not work. The online community misunderstood and thought I was promoting violence. Story 138. I was banned for inciting violence. A woman carrying a coffee physically assaulted people because she did not get her way. Someone should have squashed her coffee cup. Story 139. One total ban on 2x for an insensitive joke about pregnancy. My fault. It was removed the next day after a short exchange with moderators. I apologized. A total ban on world news for sharing my views on Israel military actions, which was before the October 7th Hamas attack. I did not appeal. Some temporary bans here and there due to the automated system not detecting sarcasm or irony. One appeal message each time resolved them quickly. A temporary ban for joking on a local subreddit about a week after the joke was made, which was well received by the community, for post-quality assessment. I chose not to contact the moderators about their definition of quality. Story 140. Yes, I said something along the line that they deserve prison time for their crimes, either for a random ketamine addict or his demented ex-boyfriend. The artificial intelligence said that is incitement to violence. The Reddit artificial intelligence bot is pretty bad. It was a warning, but it has been removed. Story 141. I received a 3-day ban. The post was about a man who was damaging ancient statues in a foreign country. I called the man some very strong names and stated that the people living in the country would deal with him. The system flagged my comment as threatening, and I had to change my password. After that, the ban was lifted. Story 142. I was banned from a subreddit for 30 days because I suggested something related. To be specific, they were asking about it, so I said, lots of people discuss that topic at a website. I was banned from 3 other subreddits because I used a service to delete old comments and replace them with random words. These were 3 of the subreddits I used most frequently. I tried appealing but was ignored. Story 143. I received 2 3-day bans for spamming. I conducted a giveaway on an Animal Crossing Nintendo game subreddit. In the game, you can invite people to your island using a 5-digit code. I did not want to post it publicly and have many people joining constantly, which causes a forced 2-minute loading screen every time someone joins and a forced 1-minute loading screen every time someone leaves. Instead, I sent the code via direct message to those who asked 1 or 2 at a time. I do not believe anyone reported me. It was likely an automated action. As it was my first offense, I was told I could not appeal the ban. Story 144. I wrote in Before Locked with about 20 other people on a bad faith post in a subreddit dedicated to freakouts. Maybe the moderators are hysterical there because they constantly watch people freak out. Anyway, sorry to offend your delicate sensibilities by gently suggesting someone might be trying to incite discord online. Story 145. I have had a fair few strikes, usually for minor issues when someone gets their feelings hurt over something insignificant. Too many strikes will result in your email being banned. That is unfortunate. Story 146. I am haunted by the original poster's story about being banned for posting about using a rifle to eradicate garden pests. Assuming the pests were insect pests and not human ones, why was this a problem? Apart from it might be potentially unsafe, I suppose. Story 147. I received a temporary ban from one of the television subreddits because I mentioned the episode of Scrubs where Dick Van Dyke guest starred. I was flagged for hate speech and banned for 3 days. I was also banned from the General Anime Convention subreddit because I discussed the behavior of the organizer of several Midwest conventions. Story 148. I was banned for suggesting a kink. They said I threatened someone. I appealed, and my account was reinstated the next day. Story 149. I received a temporary ban for advocating violence when I posted something about a club in the golf subreddit. Story 150. I will come back in a few hours, and this post will probably be taken down. This subreddit is part of what you are talking about. Story 151. I shared a true story in the food community about the dog burger I had in South Korea years ago, a day or 2 after dog meat was finally outlawed there. I was banned from the community for it and did not bother appealing. Story 152, yes, but talking about it can get me banned again. That is why I was banned for discussing being banned. Story 153, permanently banned from r/news for asking when Hamas will investigate their own actions like the Israeli Defense Forces investigate their own military for misconduct. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.